No IMTS would be complete without a wrap-up by Peter Eelman, the Vice President of Exhibitions and Business Development for AMT, the Association for Manufacturing Technology. Peter, I don't know what to say. It is bigger and better than ever. It is amazing. It is innovative. You got to walk around the show floor. What did you see?
Well, before we do that, I was really scared there for a minute when you said you didn't know what to say, because you're supposed to be the hostess and you're going to be the one that knows everything to say about IMTS. What did you think?
I thought it was really inspiring, and I heard a lot of trends about data-driven manufacturing. We heard a lot about additive manufacturing is no longer a test subject. It is it's now able to be implemented, and it's a reality. We heard a lot about Industry 4.0 and IoT, and we really heard a lot about encouraging the next generation of manufacturing professionals to be here, get engaged, get involved, and be one with the industry.
That's a good answer, but also I want to know what you found as the most cool thing that you saw, because remember, I told you in our first show what was going to be the cool things to do.
Yes.
Did you do them?
No, because I was here working. But I did get to see them, and I did get to hear so many stories about them. And I will say that one of the most impressive things that we heard about was the AMI project, sponsored by the Department of Energy with Oak Ridge National Laboratory, where it is the 3D printed house that, correct me if I'm wrong, shares energy with a car on a pad right outside.
Right, and that car is actually the car that tows that vehicle. It's actually a little bit of a kind of a Jeep type vehicle. And
it looks really cool. Like, just the visual of it is really cool.
It looks cool. It is cool because it's not only a concept that brings in additive manufacturing, but it brings in the real future of digital manufacturing, which is you don't look to manufacture in blocks anymore. You look at the whole project. What is the best way to make every part of the project? And that probably was something that when I walked around the show floor, I saw more and more of is, what are we trying to achieve? What is the application that we're going to dig into, rather than, years and years ago, and I've been around IMTS a very long time, it was a very inward-looking show. It was always kind of, well, I make this machine and it does this.
Yes.
That's kind of where I grew up in IMTS, was you looked inward. Yeah. Now it's completely the opposite. Customers define what they are going to try to make, and at IMTS we try to figure out what the best way to make that is. And our exhibitors, our visitors collaborate on both design of products, what's the best way to manufacture it, what's the best tools to use to make the product efficient, and probably the most important change over the years has been, how do we analyze what we're doing here? Yes. Data analysis, utilizing MT Connect, which we introduced here at IMTS a number of years ago, it's now mainstream industry. Yeah. Mainstream industry is data analytics. What are we doing? How can we do it better? How can we plan to make new projects much more applications driven?
Well, and another thing that I heard a lot about in talking to everybody that I spoke to here on IMTSTV was that the attendees are no longer walking the show floor looking to buy a product or looking to buy a widget or looking to buy a tool. The attendees of IMTS 2016 are walking the show floor looking for customized solutions to their problems. And they would go to exhibitor A and there would be one possibility. And then they would go to exhibitor B and there would be another possibility. And then maybe exhibitor C had the one that was the perfect fit. And that is really interesting to me, that there's not just one way to do it.
Process solutions are a big part of the experience at IMTS, being exposed to a different way to do things. You could take your little example there, and there's parts that could be machined. They could be cut with a laser. They could be water jet cut. They could be additively printed. And at the end of the day, you have a very similar part.
Yeah.
So it's what is best for your application, in your environment, in your manufacturing process. And that's a big change and a very positive one, because certainly for us at IMTS means that our world is getting bigger.
Yes, evolving.
Our world is evolving and getting bigger. Manufacturing is a very big net now compared to a very tight group of primarily machinery builders. Now it is the entire manufacturing process. It's why I think we're talking about attendance now in the 115, 116,000 range, somewhere in there when we finish. We last night crossed 115,000 before we left. So at that kind of a number, that's got to be larger than regular, kind of the old traditional manufacturing base. The traditional manufacturing base, IMTS in years past was garnishing in the 80 to 90,000 range. So,
which is not too shabby.
No, it's not, but it is.
But compared to 115,000, it's a little light.
It's a wider net now, and that's good for everybody.
Yes.
There's better thoughts, there's better interactions, there's better research, and at the end of the day, it makes manufacturers better, and that's the whole reason we hold an IMTS.
Well, and I'm guessing that you got to walk the majority of the 1.3 million square feet here at McCormick Place. So, there's a new pavilion, there's a new hall. What other new exciting things, obviously that you knew about, but that you saw really inspired you?
Well, I think in addition to talking about additive, talking about digital manufacturing, the other undercurrent that you kind of saw throughout the show was automation. Automation is everywhere. It is everywhere. From whether it be a robotic arm, a loader, a different way to handle parts in between machinery, automation is necessary in order to keep manufacturers productive.
Yes.
And it's been a part of IMTS for a long time. Now it is absolutely part of the fabric of IMTS. When a part solution or a process solution is designed, the thought starts with how are we going to move it from raw material to finish? How are we going to start? How are we going to package? How are we going to finish? It's a full process. And here we're now able to see that automation is a big key to controlling the process and making sure that really at the end of the day you have the finished product that you're looking for.
Well, and you mentioned robots, and that was something we spoke a lot about here at IMTS TV, both about cobots, where robots are not our competition and they're not taking jobs away from us humans, but they're working side by side with us, and they're doing those boring, repetitive tasks that we don't want to do because we have hands and a brain and we need to utilize those. At the same time that robots are cool and they're fun and they're really attracting that younger generation.
Robotics and automation technology, not necessarily one and the same, but they are two technologies married by increasing efficiencies. Increasing efficiencies is what we have to do because as we look forward now, we've got a student summit here. We've had over 15,000 students come. If every one of them enters manufacturing, we're still far short of the skills and talent that we need for the 21st century. We have to train people in STEM. We have to have people that understand digital manufacturing. And that's so important to us. We need that group to be driving manufacturing forward. We don't need to do mundane tasks. We need to do brain power tasks.
Yes. All right, well, IMTS 2016, unfortunately, closes in a couple hours. So where do we go next?
Well, the first thing we do is we go out and we roll up all the carpeting. That's the first thing we do. We'll start that at around 6:10.
I cannot imagine that
if y'all would
task.
like to come out this afternoon, we'll be rolling carpet shortly after we get everybody out of here, and then we do some packing and we load up the machines and we get out of here. That takes about a week. We'll be surveying visitors. We'll be surveying our exhibitors to get some of the high points of the show, find out where we had some challenges, and we'll begin at AMT with my staff, with our group, analyzing that and starting, believe it or not, our first 2018 meeting has already occurred.
Wow.
And we'll begin the process of rethinking IMTS because that's what we do.
Yeah.
We do not do consecutive shows alike. They're different every time.
Yeah.
And that is a focus of mine. It's a focus of the AMT staff. We're excited because we get to learn in the next 2 years what is going to change, what is going to evolve in manufacturing in the next 2 years. Doesn't mean we won't be doing shows in the next 2 years. We're going to be busy.
Well, and that's what I hear, that there's a new partnership between AMT and SME with 5 new shows. There's so much new. Tell us more about this.
We're not necessarily new shows, but we're going to take shows and look at putting a new twist on them. In the next year or so, we'll be taking our surveying techniques together with SME and looking at regional events and trying to decide what customers in those regions really need. We talked today earlier about IMTS being applications focused on very, very part process orientation. When we look at regions, manufacturing is different in different regions in the U.S. And when we start to design shows for specific markets, we're going to be looking at ways to answer the specific application needs for people in that market. We're very excited that our partners at SME are taking some of shows that have been around a while and are ready to give them a new face, a new polish, and really make them what our visitors, what our customers are looking for, both on the educational side of things and on the application side of things.
A new twist, if you will.
A new twist. We're also going to take our thought process from IMTS and bring it overseas.
I heard.
We have a partnership with the Chinese Machine Tool Builders Association, and we will be partnering to produce our first completely international event that we have a management role in, that we have a senior management role in, if you will. And we're going to take an event to Chongqing, China, in November of 2017. That event is located in a brand new exhibition hall. Brand new exhibition hall in an area that is growing at GDP of 11% per year. It's an area that makes motorcycles. Half of all the laptops in the world come out of that area. Most people have never even heard of it.
Yeah.
And yet it's a dynamic manufacturing area, Southwest China. We'll be designing it in the same way that we do IMTS. And we introduced it here in a press conference. We've got all kind of interest from both our exhibitors here and international associations that all want to get in there and look at what is a very exciting second tier area. A lot of people now know Beijing, they know Shanghai, they know the major Chinese cities, but these second tier cities, we wouldn't call it second tier if we were here.
No.
But 15 million residents and 11% GDP growth, making motorcycles, automobiles, laptops.
And that's only second tier.
Yes.
It's such a different world.
The 6 provinces, including Chongqing, actually have a larger GDP than India. So that gives you an idea of the scale. And I think that'll keep our exhibition staff busy, and maybe myself too, over the next couple of years.
Where did this idea come from?
Well, we actually paid a visit to Chongqing almost 4 years ago. And the area at that time was under development. The exhibition hall was not yet finished. It is a very waterway-driven city. There's 3 rivers that go through that area, and the area had not really been brought up to infrastructure scale with bridges and things like that. It now has. So as that has occurred, these manufacturing facilities have located in there and have grown massively. And we kind of had a feeling that was going to happen. When I first visited the city, there was 8 bridges under construction on 2 sides of the city. It was a nightmare for people living there at that time. But
once they're done, it's going to be amazing.
We were back in Chongqing just 3-4 months ago, and now you can move around, you can get from one place to the other, and it is also still a shipping hub. So these companies that are making all these laptops can get them in and get them out.
Perfect. What else is new? What else is going on? What else do we need to know before we close down IMTS 2016?
Dates for 2018, September 10th to September 15th. If you haven't written it down on your calendar yet, I don't know what you're thinking, but get it on that calendar. Don't book your vacation, don't book your trip. September 10 to 15, 2018. We'll be here, and you'll be here for what, how many now?
That'll be number 7 for me.
Number 7. Number 7 for you, number 20 for me.
I'll catch up one of these days.
All right, sounds good. Sounds good.
Well, that was Peter Eelman with some closing thoughts on such a successful IMTS 2016.